So hey fans, the series name is What If Naruto Trained by Goku and Vegeta by Chunin Exam. So let's start the series. Space. Many people have wished throughout the centuries to journey into the great beyond to learn what was out there and to seek out new life forms. Until recent years it wasn't possible, and now that it was, there are hundreds of extraterrestrial life forms that had been found all over the universe, some even being identical to humans. And yet through all their explorations into space they had just barely begun to uncover even a quadrant of deep space. Humans had yet to even leave the western quadrant of space ruled by one of the four Kais, King Kai. They had really yet to leave the galaxies surrounding their own and explore planets like Namek, which used to exist before Frieza blew it up after feeling threatened by Goku. Yet all of this really didn't matter to Goku, who was currently flying in a Scion pod with the location of Earth programmed into it. It must have been Vegeta's pod now that he thought about it. Why else would Earth be in the programming? Oh well, Goku stretched while within the craft, being a little cramped as he did so. At least I got to stretch my legs and learn a new technique at that planet. And food. That food was so good. Just thinking about it, salivating at the thought of food, a little drool escaping his lips, Goku was already feeling hungry, and in all fairness he hadn't eaten in over a week or two, so that was natural. His body was burning the excess calories he had from the massive amount of food he devoured on the last planet he had visited. Man, I'm so hungry! Goku complained as he restlessly shifted in his seat, his thought process firmly on the subject of his empty stomach. I really wish I didn't use up all those senzu beans on the way to Namek. I'm hungry now. He finalized his statement by stamping his foot onto the pod. However, he forgot to calculate in his massive strength and the durability of the pod. To his luck, he didn't puncture through the space pod and instead just caused a massive malfunction as electricity started to crackle all around the ship. Oh, that's not good. Better land. Searching through space, hoping to see a planet in the distance, Goku sighed in relief seeing one. He didn't once wonder if the planet could support life in the slightest and set the coordinates. Somehow with all the malfunctioning circuits it managed to accept the directions and sped towards the nearby planet, set on a crash courses. Getting a closer look at the planet, Goku was absolutely giddy. It was a planet very much like Earth at first sight. There were land masses, oceans and even Arctic poles. One could think it was Earth, but there were few large continents like there was one Earth, and instead there were hundreds if not thousands of islands spread throughout the oceans that circled around one larger continent. However, once more none of this mattered to Goku. He was just giddy for the fact if there was water that meant fish. And fish meant, well, at least I'll get some food when I land. I'm going to catch the biggest fish I can find when I land. Goku happily squealed as he entered the planet's orbit, glad that his hunger would soon be sated. For now, things had not gone well for Uzumaki Naruto today. Scratch that, they hadn't gone well for him this week. Everything started with getting the notice that they would be competing in the Chunin exams the day before they started. A little heads up would have been nice. Then during the exams the first test was a written one, and Naruto hated written tests, but to make all things worse it wasn't until after the test that he was informed it was about espionage, and the fact that he had one of the Chunin guys next to him that had the answers come on. Next was the second exam in the Forest of Death, where to start. That forest was a nightmare with everything that happened, for there were just too many things that went wrong. First, that rain guy ambushed him while taking piss, then getting ambushed by that creepy snake guy and being blown over 100 meters by his wind blast, and then eaten by a snake. Then Sasuke turns into a wimp and he had to set him straight. Gets knocked out and QB sealed off creepy snake guy before the sound team attacks them while he and Sasuke are unconscious and being defended by Sakura. How she managed to fight all three off after Lee got put out of commission even he didn't know. Then that entire saga with Kabuto, who he couldn't believe was that weak but already had the necessary scrolls to get to the next round, followed by those damn Haze Clone Rain ninja that were making fools out of him until Sasuke forced his Sharingan active, despite the pain, to help him beat them. The prelims were the first good thing that happened, for he beat Kiba with the help of a fart in his face. Now that he thought about it, that really sucked that he couldn't beat Kiba without that fart happening. And now finally, Kakashi said he couldn't train him during the month for he would be training Sasuke to fight Gaara. Okay, fair enough. That guy was scary after he pummeled Lee like he did, and was ready to kill the bushy eyebrow kid, but did he have to stick him with an incompetent teacher like Ebisu? He managed to lose the Jounin after 10 minutes, and now he was training on his own. Like losing him was hard in the first place, he outtrained Chunitsu. Jounins and the Umbua. Like the day he painted the Hokage monument, he just couldn't get away from Irika, for he knew all his favorite hiding spots. But now he came to a new problem. How in the hell was he supposed to train himself for the next month if he didn't know what to work on? Sure, he created techniques of his own just from seeing others, but it just wasn't the same. Besides, Kakashi had always said he needed to work on chakra control, so how did he do that? Of course there was the library and the scrolls he had at home, but he hated reading. Also, if he didn't understand something from it, he couldn't just ask someone how it worked, for there was no one there to ask. It was just better to have someone overseeing his training in the first place. Groaning out loud, just wondering how he was going to be able to pull this off, Naruto sighed as he ignored a rising roar in the distance. I guess I do need Ebisu, even if he can't even train Konohamaru. At least he'll know how to work on chakra control, I hope. Since it was the last thing he wanted to do, Naruto gave the biggest tree he was next to a look and remembered the tree climbing exercise his team was taught in the Wave Country. He really didn't want to go back and look for Ebisu just yet, so it was better if he did something he knew of first. Getting a head start, he dashed up the tree before he noticed something was off about this. His chakra flow did not feel like it had been when he first was able to perform this exercise on a daily basis, and since it wasn't right, he wasn't able to keep his footing and slid back down. Damn! Naruto cursed at this inconvenience, but his eyes narrowed. What the hell did that creepy snake guy do? Not only did he seal off the Kyuubi from helping me, I can't even do this right anymore. His hatred grew for that snake bastard. That was just one more reason he had to beat the crap out of him the next time they met. After a few more attempts, he realized he wasn't getting anywhere, for his chakra kept acting up. He knew whatever it was that happened had to be fixed. The only person he knew that could fix whatever that snake did, other than Kakashi, was the old man Hokage, so it looked like he would have to make a visit to the old man soon. Great, he's not going to be too happy with me, especially after my last prank on him. Naruto grimaced, for he remembered pranking the Hokage just at the beginning of the week before. He smirked. Then again, the old man loved every second of it. Sexy harem no jutsu probably just reminded him of the good old days. And what is that sound? Naruto finally noticed the loud roar that had been getting steadily louder and louder for the last couple of minutes. Looking around his area, expecting to see a cougar or something like that in the area, he saw nothing and began to wonder what in the world was causing such a sound. That was when he finally decided to look up and notice something rather dreadful coming his direction. Meteor. Oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. Running, running, running. Naruto screamed out as he took off, trying to avoid being blown into smithereens by the falling object of impending doom. Little did he know a very similar mantra was being yelled by a certain scion. Oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. Don't crash, don't crash, don't crash. Neither mantra did much to help either out, as the spaceship crashed into the forests with a huge impact, narrowly missing Naruto, but instead lifted him into the air from the impact and flung him to the side and through a few trees in the process. Electricity surged around the pod as the hatch struggled to open before finally just stopping. Seeing there was no way else out, Goku forced the door open and practically ripped it off its hinges. Whoops. This is going to be a problem. Hope someone on this planet knows how to fix this, otherwise I might be in trouble. Hey, wait a second. Goku realized before putting his hand on his head and started concentrating, searching for a presence. Hey King Kai. I need a little help here. Goku, what did you do now? The frustrated voice of King Kai spoke within his mind, having caught Goku was in some sort of trouble. Don't tell me you crash-landed again. What am I going to do with you? Wincing from King Kai's annoyed tone, Goku could only nod before responding, yeah. Could you communicate to Bulma or someone back home that I'm stuck on a planet only a few galaxies away and I need a ship sent here to take me home? I kind of broke the pod. Oh, for the love, alright, fine, but you owe me big time. The North Kai responded, sounding even more agitated at first before he simply sighed, knowing there was no way to get around it. Goku was one hell of a fighter, but he was dense in every other sense and happened to be very accident-prone. Thanks, King Kai. Goku responded before smiling as he looked around. Alright, now time to get some food and maybe check out the locals. Oh, this is the worst pain ever. A groan nearby caught Goku's attention. Quickly locking onto the location of where the groan came from, Goku grimaced, seeing a few broken trees where it looked like someone was flung through them. Then he saw a rather young boy, almost twice Gohan's age from the look of it, in rather bad condition. Landing next to him, Goku refrained from groaning as he was sure this was his fault. The boy probably tried to get out of the way of his spaceship but got caught in the aftershock of his landing and got thrown here. Man, I don't even have a sensu. Wait, what's this in my shoe? Hey! A sensu. Why was I keeping it there? Goku wondered as he pulled off his boot from his elaborate outfit he got from the last planet he crashed on, only to see one of the magical beans fall from his shoe. Oh well, doesn't matter, here, eat up, it will make you feel good as new. At this point, Naruto really didn't care what the guy was offering. He was pretty sure his spine was broken along with many other bones in the process. It was just luck that he survived the meteor crash and having this guy find him so quickly. And if whatever this was could take away his pain. He chewed the bean and swallowed, then something he never felt in his life filled his very being like nothing before. Naruto felt his very body reacting to what he had swallowed, his broken bones mending in record times, his bruises mystically washing away, and all the pain that he was in moments before began to vanish in moments. And the weirdest thing of all was he felt somewhat full, like he just ate a few bowls of Ichiraku's ramen. Slowly sitting up, his eyes wide at the magical healing powers of whatever that was that he swallowed, he looked at the man in shock. What was that? I never felt so good in my life. That's a senzu bean for you. It heals all minor damage done to the body and even fills up your stomach for a few days, though it hardly fills my appetite anymore. Goku responded, grinning widely at the young blonde's amazement of his healed body. And sorry about that, I couldn't control my ship as it crashed down. Oh, that's okay, wait, what? Naruto brushed him off like nothing happened before he caught what he said. Your ship? You mean that meteor was you? Alien? Hey, take it easy. Goku tried to placate the young boy, understanding why someone would freak out from an alien landing on their planet. I was on my way back home when my pod started acting funny and I had to land. Things got out of hand and I crash-landed here. I've already called my friends, so they should be here soon to pick me up. About that, Goku King Kai's voice came from within his head, catching the Super Saiyan's attention. It will take them about a month to get there. Thankfully they have a ship ready to launch, but you're a bit further than what you expected. They should be there in about 3 weeks or so to pick you up. I had to give them the coordinates, for it is a planet the Earthlings haven't visited yet. Oh, is that so? Oh well, I'll just train while I wait for them to get here. Thanks again, King Kai. Goku shrugged that off easily, for he could wait that long for his friends to pick him up. Don't mention it, but just for the sake of things, Goku, the planet you are on has some of the warriors I've trained in the past. However, they have a weird way of using chi. Instead of letting it flow freely, they have found a way to control it to use more subtle techniques. It is quite fascinating actually how they're able to do it. But it weakens them tremendously compared to other fighters out there. King Kai decided to inform Goku since he would be staying there for a month. Really? I might be able to learn a few things while I'm here then. Good to know, King Kai. Talk to you later. Goku mentally waved off the Northern Kai before noticing the blonde-haired kid was looking at him funny. What? You zoned out for a moment and looked like you were off in deep space. Now, as I asked, where are you from and why were you away from home? Naruto responded before asking the question Goku had zoned out on. Oh, sorry about that, never mind. Goku scratched the back of his head before thinking about Naruto's question for a moment. I'm from Earth, a few galaxies away from here. I was coming back home after saving my friends from a space overlord that was trying to get immortality with an amazing power level. I've never fought anyone so strong before. Wait, you're a fighter? Naruto caught what the guy was saying before his mind started working a mile a minute. Can you train me then? Naruto wasn't sure why he asked, but something about the man before him screamed to him. He wasn't sure what, but he could feel that this guy could train him and make him stronger than he ever imagined, helping him not only beat Neji but prove to everyone that he was Uzumaki Naruto, the next Hokage. Deciding to explain things a little further, Naruto excitedly kept on going. There is a tournament in about a month that I have to get ready for, but I have no one to train me thanks to my sensei training Sasuke, who is also part of my team, for he has a scary opponent in the next round. He assigned someone to train me, but I'm stronger than that guy anyways, so... Sure! Goku grinned at the prospect of having someone to spar with while he was on this planet, for it would be a great way to kill time. I've got nothing better to do while I'm here, but first I'm hungry. Is there any place to eat? Yada! Naruto yelled out happily that he would have a competent trainer for the next month before he caught what Goku had said. Sure, I'll take you to the Ichiraku's ramen. What the? Goku tensed and prepared for battle as he could feel hundreds surround their location swiftly. In the very next moment, dozens of Anbu, Jounin and Chunin quickly had surrounded the area. They were probably all from the same town the kid was, so there probably was nothing to worry about, but despite that fact everyone seemed tensed and combat ready, so he was ready to fight if he had to. "Hey old man! What are you doing here?" Naruto suddenly yelled out, recognizing the aged figure who was leading the group of ninja that suddenly arrived. "I was just about to take my friend here to go get something to eat before he started training me." Blinking at what was just said, the Sandaime Hokage wanted to roll his eyes. He really did. However, from the meteor crash, something that was not very normal within Konoha, to the massive power he felt emanating from it, and now from the man next to the said blonde, the third had to be careful. Everyone was tense and ready to deal with the threat, for this power felt like nothing they had ever sensed before. Dwarfing Kyuubi with relative ease, taking a deep breath, Hijirin gazed upon the blonde in a serious manner to try and inform Naruto of the severity of the situation that was at hand. "Naruto, can you kindly explain to me what you know? That would help greatly at this time, for you see we came here expecting the worst." "Huh?" Naruto seemed a little confused at what the old Hokage meant by expect the worst, but he understood that he wanted to know what happened. "Well, let's see. I was out here training after Kakashi abandoned me with Ebisu, and I shook off the perv. I was about to head out when suddenly out of nowhere this meteor fell out of the sky, which happened to be a spaceship owned by the name's Goku." Goku added to try and help Naruto in his cause by explaining what he could while noting the shocked-looking faces on those in the area, despite there was evidence of such, for his pod was still intact. "Thanks. Well, when I noticed I tried to run off, but it was just too fast, and I got caught up in the crash and was badly hurt." Naruto grimaced, as this part would be rather hard to explain, for he was no longer even scratched from the crash. "Goku here noticed me rather quickly and noted I was hurt, and gave me this weird pill that healed all my injuries. Afterwards." "He healed you? With a pill?" Hijirin raised an eyebrow, as did many shinobi and kunoichi in the vicinity, before turning to the scion. "Would you be so kind to show me what it was that you healed Naruto here with?" About that," Goku nervously grinned as he scratched the back of his head. "That was my last one. I didn't even know I had a sensa left, and it was by chance I still had one. Don't know how it got there, as these are new clothes I'm wearing, unless the bean was in between my toes this entire time." "Wait, it was in between your toes?" EW. Naruto wanted to puke, for he knew a little more about hygiene than people gave him credit for, and knew that was a rather disgusting place for anything to be. Not entirely believing the story that was at hand, knowing Naruto was rather easy to convince, the third Hokage refrained from acting hastily on this situation, for it all could be just a massive misunderstanding. First thing first, confirming his story, there was a weird pod he noted on the way here. Naruto was training here. He was watching the blonde through his crystal ball before he felt this man's massive power nearing at an accelerated pace. He indeed crashed. From what he had seen of the pod, it wasn't in the best condition. Finally, he probably did heal Naruto, for he was very sure Naruto's clothes weren't that torn up when he was watching him train just a little before. But the elderly Hokage was no fool either. This could just as easily be a ploy by one of the other nations that now had access to greater technology. But to have someone of this kind of power, why was he not known about? Going by his gut instinct, the third kept his gaze on the weirdly dressed man. "Mr. Goku, how was it that you ended up here?" Seeing it was his turn to tell his part of the story, Goku wisely decided to answer. "Well, sir, I was on my way back home after trying to save one of my friend's home planet from an evil tyrant. Now I'm on my way back after settling everything, and I kind of wrecked my pod. So I had to call my friends to come pick me up, for there is no way for me to get there on my own unless you have ships here that can traverse a few galaxies, or know someone would can fix my ship. I would be grateful." Once again, it was a hard story to swallow. Naruto probably would believe it, for he could see the good in anyone's heart if it was there, but there was nothing to say that this guy wasn't the tyrant in the story, with that horrible power he felt emanating from him. However, he also sensed about him the same calm he was sure Naruto felt as well. It was like he was before a mother bear, yet he was nothing but a cub to the man before him. Yet if someone reared their teeth towards him and brought out the violence. "I see," the third Hokage spoke, choosing his words wisely with this new possible threat before him. The elderly man gazed over at Naruto for only a moment. "We have no one that I know of that can fix your ship or have any of our own. I can safely assume our planet is not as advanced as your own. How long will it be till they are able to retrieve you? They said in about 3 weeks to a month, but now hearing Naruto's problem, I think I'll stay the month and help him train. I hear there's a fighting tournament coming up here and I want to see it, having won my planet's Tenkaichi Budokai a few years ago. I want to see how it turns out, for I like watching fights. Well, I enjoy being in them more, but I have a feeling it's more for the kids here, Goku responded before chuckling softly and scratching the back of his head. Thankfully this being spoke in the same language, and it seemed that they also used a similar language for certain events and was able to translate what he had said. That only gave this man more credence to being a possible threat, a very dangerous one at that, for they had no clue how powerful his people were. Still, he did not want to be the one to bring forth this one's anger and bring possible destruction to his village if he could avoid it. Very well then. For the time being I will allow you free stay here till they arrive to pick you up, and for the tournament, I will have someone take you to your room after you finish with your training today. Then, a loud roar echoed before Goku could even finish, and in classic style Goku laughed. Sorry, I'm starving. If you don't mind, I would like to get something to eat, and Naruto here was about to show me to a place to eat, so I'll pick up the tab after. Just keep under a 5-bowl minimum, Naruto, the third spoke. Still leery about this entire situation, but he wasn't going to press it if this being wasn't threatening to use force. Anything to stay on his good side for now, for the Sandaime Hokage seriously doubted his ability in sealing if they were forced to fight this one whose power seemingly overwhelmed anything he ever dreamed of. Not even the fox seemed to match a fraction of his power. Thanks, old man, Naruto cried back before grabbing Goku's hand and drug him to his favorite restaurant. You're going to love it. Their ramen is the best in all of Konoha, and it is perfect food for training since it peps you up. You don't have to sell me. I love ramen, Goku responded happily, almost lifting Naruto in anticipation of being fed, and hurried Naruto along, for he was starving. Soon after the two faded from sight, the head of Anbu cloaked in a creamy white cloak dropped next to the third Hokage. Sir, is this really wise? We have no choice in the matter. I'm sure you felt it to the power he radiates, Hijrin told the Anbu while keeping his eyes firmly on where the two had left, and to be honest, I don't think he is a threat, so we will show him our hospitality, for this seems to be pure happenstance. And as long as we don't make him bare his teeth, we should be fine. The white cloak Anbu nodded, for he knew all too well what would happen if the alien being were to attack. Keep an eye on them, while I will trust him and give our hospitality to him. I do not want him out of sight. Who knows what could possibly happen, or if he's really benevolent as he seems. There's just too many variables, with the only sure factor is his power, and above all else. The third hesitated for a moment, as he chose his words carefully. This village safety comes first, and if we have to, sacrifices will be made. The Anbu bowed lightly before dispersing from sight to trail the alien being in Konoha's sunshine, leaving the third and many other perplexed ninja with cleanup. Tucci could not believe his eyes. The sight before him was almost horrific, and would have been if it wasn't for one thing. He was getting paid for the amount this man was wolfing down. Tears of joy rolled down his face as he served what had to be the 100th bowl to Goku, who almost devoured it the moment it was put in front of him. Tucci couldn't be happier. Sure, they were practically out of materials, but that didn't matter, for the amount they would make up for all that was lost by fourfold. To the side, spectators had gathered in shock to witness this feat. Most were people Naruto didn't know, but there were those that he did, and he couldn't help but join them. Sure, he could eat 20 bowls on a good day, but damn, this was his 137th bowls, and he was still going strong. Even Chuji, Ino and Shikamaru couldn't believe what they were seeing, and they had seen Chuza on an eating binge, and that didn't even compare to this. Where did all those calories go? More, please. Goku grinned and spun the bowl he just finished on his finger. Any flavor? Doesn't matter, just keep 'em coming. I'm sorry, sir, but we're all out. I am begun for her father, who looked like he was determined to run out and get more materials just to keep this man at the booth. We can get more materials, but that won't be until tomorrow afternoon, as we have to assign a mission in order to get the materials. Looking somewhat disappointed at hearing they were out, Goku suddenly got a pensive look on his face before the light bulb came on above his head. So if I go and get these materials for you, I could say continue eating? Was flabbergasted. This guy had just ate about his weight in ramen, and was still wanting more, and was even offering to get the materials just to keep eating. I believe so, but you don't even know where. Alright. It's settled. Goku jumped up with a look of determination on his face before he turned to his current protege. Let's go, Naruto. We've got a job to do. I'm right behind you on this one. We'll get you your supplies, I am. You better believe it. Naruto grinned and gave her a quick victory pose, for he polished 17 bowls off, forgetting what the Hokage had limited him to after watching Goku ripping through the delicious noodles. The two were ready to run off and get the ingredients that were needed when they were stopped by the father of the pineapple genius. Hey, you two do know that before you can just run off you have to clear it with the Hokage, right? What, Mr. Shikamaru's dad? Naruto stopped in his tracks before turning with Goku and seeing Shikaka looking at them with a passive glare. Raising his eyebrow at Naruto, wondering how long it was going to take him to remember his name since he spent the night over at their place a multitude of times, Shikaka sighed. Go clear it with the Hokage first. I'm sure he'll allow it, for it is a mission, and it is only C rank. He'll also be able to give you 2 directions, for it doesn't seem like you know where to go or what to pick up. Oh, good point. Goku sheepishly admitted while scratching the back of his neck. Alright, let's get the directions first, and then let's be on our way. Now who's the Hokage and where can I find him? Every spectator, including those that were there at Goku's crash site, and even they sweat dropped, found their faces in the ground. This guy was in Konoha and didn't even know who the Hokage was? And at that he didn't even know where to find him? Everyone knew that. Was he an idiot, or just really dense? The old man we were talking to a little while ago. Come on, he's in the big tower over there, Naruto reminded the Scion warrior before motioning to the tallest building in Konoha. Now let's go and get ourselves a mission. Alright, I'm with you. Goku stated and followed after Naruto in a hasty manner to the Hokage's office, keen on getting the mission to help Ichiraku's. For the sake of food, a certain head of Umbu picked himself from the rooftop he fell onto and twitched behind his mask. This was going to be a rough month. He needed help, that was for sure. Hiruzen could only blink. It had barely been an hour and already there seemed to be a problem, and it dealt with the alien visitor. And no, it couldn't have been an orthodox problem. It had to be something that you normally wouldn't expect. The only bright side, it wasn't something difficult to deal with, just annoying. So let me get this straight, you two. Hiruzen twitched while he gazed at the 2 ravenous ramen eaters before him. You managed to eat Ichiraku's out of their ingredients, forgetting my 5-bowl limit for you, Naruto, and you didn't think about stopping him after about 50 bowls, and now you want to go out on a mission to restock their supplies so you can eat more? Yeah, that about does it, Naruto admitted without shame while nodding enthusiastically. So how about it, old man? Going to give us the mission? If you don't, will be sad, and that will put me in a pranking mood. Sarutobi couldn't help but roll his eyes at Naruto's attempt at blackmail, and would have attempted to ignore his threat if it was so imminent. Naruto was about the only person that could get the upper hold on him within the village, all due to a certain smut writer's work of art. Sighing, trying to intimidate Naruto with his half-effort glare, the third gave up and nearly threw his hands in the air. Fine. It just so happens this is normally a once-a-week mission, so I have all the information necessary on me. Pulling out a scroll, checking once to make sure it was the correct parchment, Hiruzen tossed it to Naruto and was about to send them off before he realized who he was talking to. Head to the town of Tao to the south of here, a few miles down the road. You can't miss it. In the town you will find a man by the name of Reno. The scroll is the payment for the supplies. Alright. We're on it, old man. We'll be back in a flash. Naruto pocketed the scroll in his equipment bag and had almost ran out of the room with Goku before skidding to stop. Feeling stupid that he forgot all about what the snake bastard had done to him, he quickly jogged back to the Hokage. Hey, old man, before I go, something happened to me in the forest during the second exam. Hiruzen's attention focused solely on Naruto, and his already serious demeanor stiffened even more. The last thing he needed to hear was that Orochimaru did something more than place his cursed mark upon Sasuke. The fact that he also did something to Naruto disturbed him, and he prayed beyond all hope that it was nothing similar. Can you elaborate more on that, Naruto? The third asked in his usual caring tone with Naruto, for it wouldn't do to show his worry to the boy. I'm aware about what happened and your run-in with Orochimaru. I must say you are all lucky to still be alive. He isn't the most merciful when it comes to someone getting in the way of his goals. Behind Naruto, stopping his jogging in place, Goku's face straightened. Just from the feeling he got from the elderly man when he spoke of this, Orochimaru gave him the impression that this guy was a Frieza in the making, and that in itself was not good. He would have to learn a little more later on and see what he could do. Instead of feeling any fear about what could have happened, Naruto did something that somewhat surprised the third Hokage and even Goku. He smirked cockily. Then he's going to live to regret leaving me alive, for I am the next Hokage, old man, and will become stronger than anyone before or after me. Both Goku and Hiruzen froze at a feeling washed over them. While many others probably would have been able to put the feeling to the side, neither of them could. They were excellent at sensing one's untapped potential, and they both saw it. They could see the massive power that lay dormant within Naruto that just waited to be released. Letting the shock was over him for a moment after the feeling faded. A low chuckle filled the air before the elderly Hokage shook his head. Of course you are Naruto above all else. I'm sure that you will achieve your dreams. But now can we get to why you stopped? What happened? Oh yeah. Naruto snapped his fingers, almost having forgotten about why it was that he stopped. He did something weird to the he hit me in the stomach and sealed it off. I can't feel its presence anymore. While most would panic at hearing that Naruto could feel Kyuubi's presence within him any longer, a frightening thought, the third knew better, and he knew his former pupil well. Take off your jacket and raise your shirt, and I'll examine what happened. Naruto did as he said while Hiruzen got up from his seat and knelt for the blonde, gazing at the blonde for a moment, seeing the seal flicker to life after he placed his hand on Naruto's stomach, flowing chakra into it. Hiruzen immediately saw what the problem was. Orochimaru had been sloppy and had not sealed Kyuubi off completely, just its presence and a little of the demon's chakra. By doing that, it affected Naruto's chakra and his control of it, drastically weakening him. Ah, I see. Thankfully it is a rather simple containment seal. If it was anything serious I would have to call Jiraiya, but I can handle this. Brace yourself, this is going to hurt a little, but it will fix the problem. The third pulled his hand back while gathering chakra on his fingertips. In the next second the said fingers impacted his stomach at the exact points of the 5-pronged seal that had cut off the Kyuubi's connection with Naruto. Ugh! That hurt. Old Naruto's words died on his lips as his chakra nearly exploded around him in a fiery display, and he gazed at his own hands, seeing the energy flow around his being. Whoa! Even the third was slightly surprised at what he saw. Naruto always had a ton of chakra, but this was different. It seemed more focused yet uncontrolled than it ever had been before. At first he thought that whatever the snake had done had thrown Naruto back to square one, where he wouldn't even be able to complete the tree climbing exercise with practice again, but that was when he saw it. It was almost unnoticeable to the normal eyes, but his eyes were well trained. When Naruto's chakra burst around him, he noted that his muscles slightly tightened and bulged. It was very minute change that only a Hyuga or someone close to Naruto would be able to notice. If he didn't know better, he swore that what Orochimaru had done had strengthened Naruto instead of crippling him. That thought only brought a smirk to his lips. Oh, he would love to throw that in his old apprentice's face. Goku too was impressed at the show before him. He would have said Naruto was about as strong as Krillin when they first started training with Master Roshi. But now, after seeing this explosion, he could compare Naruto more to himself during his adventures dealing with the Red Ribbon Army. But there was also something else. He noted something that felt weird with Naruto's chi. Remembering what King Kai had told him earlier about how they refined their chi to perform their techniques, Goku frowned. It truly did make them weaker, but there is something else that seemed to be mixed in with the chi, something that didn't quite go with it. I'll ask King Kai about it tonight. He said he did train some of the warriors of this planet before. Maybe he'll know something. Goku made a mental note to see what he could do to help Naruto train after he saw what could do. Also, I need to know more about that seal. There's something foreboding emanating from within it. Finally, as the chakra faded around him, the third couldn't help but chuckle yet again at the blonde. Well, it just seems you are full of surprises, Naruto. But you better work on your chakra control. It seems that Orochimaru threw it out of whack with that seal. Yeah, I kind of noticed. My chakra just suddenly welled up and expanded on its own there. Naruto was still a little shocked at what happened, for he felt far better than he did before, and to make matters weirder, he just felt stronger. Coughing to knock Naruto back to his senses, the third smiled before motioning for the door. Now I believe you have a mission to complete. Otherwise I might be very sad that they have to close up shop for the next few days. Oh right. Let's get to Tao and talk to Reno about the supplies. Naruto suddenly jumped back into reality before rushing out the door with Goku following. The moment they left, Sarutobi simply looked at the corner of his room before the Umbu captain silently followed the two, and the next moment another person made his presence known and made the Hokage sigh. So what do you think? Well, I don't know, the man responded and shrugged his shoulders. It is obvious he's not from this world, so we can't make any haste judgments. However, I would have to say he's not a bad person. The only thing I would have to say is his reaction to Orochimaru when you mentioned him. I caught that too. Now I just wonder what it was about, for his power slightly rose for a moment. The third responded with a frown adorned on his face. While I don't buy his tyrant story, maybe it was the truth, and just from my brief description of Orochimaru it reminded him of that tyrant. You can't rule it out. I don't see why he would lie. It doesn't benefit him, and with the power he has, if he was truly an evil overlord, why make us believe differently? Why not just annihilate us and wait for his minions to come and pick him up? Why train one of our own? The other man rose. Valid points to the third. The Hokage could only nod at them before sighing. True, but you are more trusting than I am, Jiraiya. Just like Naruto, you can see the good in a person within their heart. And it has only failed me once, Jiraiya pointed out before frowning at the thought of his ex-teammate. So it would seem that we're going to let him train Naruto over the month to see what he has to offer and to see if he's a threat? That is how it must be, Hiruzen sadly admitted before gazing down at the village and at a certain pair as they moved to the south gate. But I hope beyond all hope that nothing goes wrong. I wouldn't want to explain what happened to Minato and Kushina in the afterlife. You and me both, Sensei. Jiraiya cringed as he knew what both would do to him if they learned he let anything bad happen to Naruto, and he didn't even bother to save him. 1,000 years of death with the Rasengan was the least of his problems. What Kushina could do to him made him shiver. That woman had a violent streak in her that made the Kyuubi cringe in fear. Hold on! Naruto cried out to Goku, trying to follow after him once they left the town. He found it incredibly difficult to chase after the scion by foot. He thought Kakashi was hard to keep up with during their training exercises. This guy made Kakashi look like he was going in slow motion. Goku knew he was easily outpacing Naruto. He was testing how fast he was, and his guess was right. He was just as fast as he was while he dealt with the Red Ribbon Army, maybe a little slower. Speed didn't seem to be one of Naruto's strong suits, but that was okay. To be honest, he was still young, and from his guess he had only just started to train. And that was impressive to Goku. He had been training all his life, and while he was sure Naruto trained a little since he could walk, it probably wasn't too serious. To start off at this level of strength was quite amazing, for he knew that on Earth that most martial artists dreamed of getting to that level, for it was enough to compete in the Tenkaichi Budokai. Slowing down to match his speed, Goku sheepishly smiled at Naruto. Sorry about that, but I was testing how fast you were to see what we're going to have to work on after the mission. Oh cool! Naruto at first was a little peeved before it clicked in his head that they would be training to increase his speed. Naruto had always thought he was rather slow. Sasuke by far was faster, and even though he hated to admit it, Sakura was actually faster than he was. Then again, that was about the only she was better than him in, other than just being smarter and devilishly beautiful. Kicking out the fantasies of Sakura that jumped into his mind, Naruto focused more onto his eventual training with Goku. Okay, so then are we going to get some weights like Lee has or something like that? That's a good start, but I still have to see what else you can do, Goku mentioned, sensing the town ahead, and started to slow his pace to try and blend in once they arrived. Oh, before we're there, what was that seal on your stomach? I noticed that the Hokage did something to it, but I wasn't sure what. Could you explain, because I'm kind of new here and don't know anything about this planet? Goku had to suddenly stop as Naruto skidded to a halt. The look on his face made the Scion warrior wonder what he had said to offend him. When Naruto spoke, "I'd rather not speak about it. It isn't something I like to talk about." His voice almost made Goku think twice about asking. He was just curious, but to get that kind of reaction meant it had to be something bad. And now noting a stranger presence and power fluctuating within the blonde before him made him wonder even more. Does that have to deal with that second and more foreboding presence I sense within you? Naruto jumped back at this startling revelation. His new sensei could sense the fox within him? He wasn't sure that he was impressed at this skill or worried about it, for now he would have to explain. And he really didn't want to say anything, because what if it changed his mind about training him? He would be left with nothing again if he saw him like so many villagers did, and maybe even less, because it would be such a blow to learn that it wasn't just those that lived through the Kyuubi attack that feared him for containing the beast. That would be a crippling blow indeed. Sucking in a deep breath and exhaling, Naruto brought forth his courage and decided to tell his hopeful trainer about the fox demon. 13 years ago, a demon of great power attacked our village, and we were unable to do anything about it. His power was just too great for even the fourth Hokage, the strongest of our village. Killing the beast was impossible, and even defeating him looked bleak. But then our yondaime, Namikaze Minato, came up with a way to defeat the nine-tailed demon. But in order to do so he had to sacrifice his life and the life of the newborn child that the beast would be sealed within. With the technique he succeeded in defeating the beast by sealing it within the child, who was then burdened with the demon that killed so many of the village. Naruto told the story with sadness, as it was hard not to seeing the results with his own eyes. And that child was Goku spoke, for he realized how the story was going to end. I can't say I understand what it was like for you, but it must have been a hard life for you. But hey, you know what? You made it through it, and that makes you even stronger for it. Goku smiled at Naruto, catching him off guard as he ruffled the blonde's hair. Having a strong body is only part of the equation. If you don't have a strong mind or a will to use it, having power is meaningless. And it also seems that you know what is most important too. Huh? Naruto was even more confused than before, trying to understand what Goku was saying. The Scion's smile only brightened at Naruto as when he ruffled his hair he took a quick peek at his life. That in the end you are willing to lay down everything you have for your friends, even your life. Only those that are willing to give up everything for what they care for truly become strong. To say Naruto was surprised would be an understatement. He was utterly baffled at what Goku had said, for it was so much like what Haku had said and how he had begun to live his life. And this man seemingly lived by that philosophy for his entire life, and the moment he felt his touch leave him he could feel the storm of power that lay within. And he knew that power was meant only for those that threatened what Goku held dearest to him. More than ever before he wanted to be trained by this man, not just for how strong he was and to learn some really cool and badass techniques from. No, he wanted to learn from this man that lived the life that he had started to travel. He wanted to become just like Goku and fight for what was precious to him. Humph, the demon is out of Konoha. A voice chuckled not too far away, noticing Naruto, and another approached town on a mission most likely. This could be interesting. I can finally get my revenge and prove my loyalty to my lord. Just you wait, demon, I'm coming for you. A dark laughter echoed as he began to set up a plan to get the boy alone so he could tear him down like he did to him. Geez whiz, there are so many people here. Which one could possibly be Reno? Goku wondered as he searched high and low, looking for where Reno could possibly be so they could get the supplies and get back to Konoha. He was getting hungrier by the second, and the longer he had to wait the more restless he would become. Taking out a map, which was conveniently located in the scroll, Naruto scratched his head, for he wished there was a "you are located here" spot on the map. Luckily there were street names and the location of Reno's surplus was circled on the map, so finding the place would be a breeze. Theoretically anyways. Oh man, I think it is on the other side of town. Naruto groaned, reading the street name they just passed, and then reading the map. Great, let's turn around. Oigaki! A somewhat familiar voice yelled out from behind Naruto, who in turn jumped and turned around to see a nightmare come true. H. Creepy exam lady! Naruto yelled and pointed at Anko, who in turn sweat dropped at the blonde. Then her embarrassment quickly turned into anger, and she gripped Naruto by his coat's collar and started violently shaking him. Brat! My name is Anko! Get it right! Now tell me what you are doing out of the village! Contestants to the third round aren't supposed to be let out of the village during the break. Excuse ma'am. Goku tried to coax the women, who Naruto obviously knew and who acted a little like Chi-Chi, to let go of Naruto. Hello, could you let him go? What do you OW? Anko turned on Goku and started to yell at him before she let go of Naruto as he bit down onto her hand. Why you're going to pay for that? If you weren't choking me I would have answered you, psycho. Naruto fired back, adjusting his coat collar back. And for your information, we took a mission here to get the ingredients and some supplies for Ichiraku's ramen since they're out. We're just kind of lost, otherwise we'd be on our way back. Blinking for a moment, still pissed that the brat had bitten her hand, Anko gazed at the oddly dressed man that had tried to stop her from her usual antics when someone angered her. She had never seen him before, yet for some reason he was on this mission with Naruto. And it was unorthodox to put a genin that had made it to the finals of the Chunin exam on a mission, since they were supposed to be training on the same day the prelims had ended. None of it made sense to her, so she was going to figure out what was going on and why there were Umbu in the area. She was cleared to be here since she too had taken a similar mission for her dango stand, for she would do anything to keep them in stock with her favorite food in the universe. Little did she know that she was staring at a man from a different planet. Brat, you do realize that Reno is on the other side of town, right? Anko twitched at Naruto, noticing a map in his hand before she sighed. I'll take you to him. It just happens that I'm out on a similar mission myself. Really? Thank you? Naruto seemingly forgot that Anko had been threatening him moments before. Yeah, don't mention it. Anko sighed and pocketed her hands into her trench coat. Leading them through the city, knowing the village well, they quickly found themselves before a man in a tux with a strange pair of sunglasses and spiky red hair that was tied into a ponytail. Yo, Anko, what took you? I was worried since you're here by 5 exact on Wednesday. And who's the kid and the funky dressed guy? It's the Chunin exams and I was a proctor. I couldn't just take time off to get the stuff. Anko shrugged since the village took priority over even her love for Dango, which she hated at times. And the kid is Naruto, a finalist in this year's exam. He's here for Tuchi's weekly payment. The guy I don't know. Who are you? The name is Son Goku. Goku responded with a happy smile now that they were in the spot now and could get what they needed. Can you hurry and help fetch the ingredients for us? I'm still hungry. To punctuate his statement, his stomach roared loudly, leaving the other three to sweat drop. None greater than Naruto, since he saw how much Goku had devoured. Okay, Rino simply blinked before standing and opening the door behind him, leading them into a warehouse before pointing to a few haversacks on a 2-wheel oxen cart, which conveniently didn't have an ox. Anko, I already have everything ready for yours delivery, so if you wouldn't mind waiting, I'll get Tuchi order. Waving him off, since it really didn't matter for her, Anko let Rino get the things, and in a few moments the cart was filled with both Tuchi's and Yura's orders, which Rino marked for them so they didn't get confused. Well, there's this week's orders now, if you would, the payment please. Watching Anko take the money from the scroll and handing it to Rino, Naruto looked at his scroll for a moment, and attempted to do the same thing, failing horribly the first time. Anko sighed and rolled her eyes. Kid, just apply some chakra to the seal, the money should come out. Naruto did as Anko said and was somewhat surprised when his other hand was filled with a large bulk of Rio before he handed it over to Rino, who looked surprised, seeing there was a note as well. Naruto read it out loud. Oh, the old man said to increase the size by 10-fold for this month, something about Goku eating them out of business with my help. A large bead of sweat fell from the back of both Anko's and Rino's head at this revelation, and could only look at the toned man for a moment, wondering where all the calories went. The former could understand with Naruto since he was always so energetic from what she saw and burned a lot of it off, but neither understood Goku's reason. What was he? Alien? After getting over his shock, Rino and a few helping hands brought everything over and completely filled the cart with the materials needed. Anko looked somewhat leery with the amount of weight, and tested it herself before she grinned. Kid, today is your lucky day. You'd get to pull this back to Konoha. What? What about the ox? Naruto fired back at the thought of having to drag this all the way back. Sorry kid, we don't have an ox, too much trouble to keep one around. That's why ninja are hired for this mission anyways. Most can lift loads like this and take them back to Konoha, Rino commented before hefting the cart up once on his own to show it wasn't so difficult. Besides Naruto, it is good training, Goku chimed in, thinking it was a great way to start Naruto's training. I did a lot of things like this, I'm sure you can get it done. Just think about how much stronger and faster you will get by carrying it all the way back to your village. Despite not seeing it as training, Naruto still was a little cautious about this. Still, if this was going to make him stronger, and his goal was to be Hokage, he couldn't possibly let someone else do this. Alright, I'll get this to Konoha in a heartbeat. Jogging over to the wooden handles in front, Naruto placed his hands underneath, and using all his might, he hefted the cart up, or tried to at least. Watching Naruto's face burn a bright red as he struggled to slowly pick the cart up, Goku felt a little sheepish, for he could see how heavy it was. It was rather heavy, for he saw the purple-haired woman, who he could tell was a lot stronger than Naruto, struggle lifting it with a decent effort. So just to help him, Goku walked to the other end and with little effort, using only a finger, pushed that side of the cart down just enough to so that Naruto was holding it level. Are you ready, Naruto? Oh man, this heavy. Naruto groaned as he gasped in effort just to keep it level, while Anko wanted to laugh at Naruto, for he looked hilarious. Anko's entire body tensed as she noticed what Goku had done. Now she would admit that she could manage this cart on the way back to Konoha, but it would take something out of her. It was far heavier than a normal load and was easily half a ton, and he had only used enough to push it up to help keep it level so that the weight wasn't entirely placed upon Naruto's shoulders. Anko narrowed her eyes at this development, Just who was this man?